Like millions that make up the quiz show audience, I also watch on InVision as the burning laser traces the dotted borderline of my fleshy donation, cauterizing as it cuts, first west to east, scapula to scapula, then south, halfway down my back, now plodding again westward, and finally heading north to complete the perfect excision. Layers of my epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis wind on a twisting spindle, leaving 4.5 square inches of raw muscle, gaping at the camera like a square bloodshot eye. My donation for the betterment of science is complete. Lying on my belly in recovery, I check InVision messages as the auto nurse examines my seed grafts and prepares my wound for dressing. Message from ICE. She has just one word to say to me. Unbelievable. I return her call and tell her, "You left me, just like that. Where are you?" She says, "Never mind." "Okay then, you were saying about bid poison." "Yes, I was going to tell you, but if you can't keep anything private." I tell her, "I'm sorry. By the time I realized what they were doing, it was too late." She wants to know, "Can you keep a secret now?" I say, "Please." "Okay, you need to know this. People still get bid poison. And me? Get tested, Vinny." I tell her, "I called the Centers for Disease Control." "Why in the world would you ever call them? Who would know better than they do?" "Of course they know, Vinny. Why do you think they call it the Centers for Disease Control?" I want to know more, but she changes the subject. "Look, I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff here." I press her. "Where are you? I was counting on you." All I can say is, "Get yourself tested, Vinny." And she clicks me off. Message from Sis. "Vinny, we saw you, for crying out loud. Don't you know everyone saw you? Look, we're locked out of our hobby, and Mom is mad. Oh man, I'm telling you, you don't want to be around her. Geez, Vinny, we're getting evicted." Message from Vita. "You are not supposed to get noticed, Vinny. That's not your job. Call me." Message from Money Matters. "This is to inform you that without a substantial payment by the end of business tomorrow, your InVision will be terminated." The auto nurse applies a piece of gauze and it hurts like hell. I ask her, "When can I get out of here?" "Well, as soon as we figure out how you're going to pay for all of this." I tell her, "Just take it out of my skin." I pull up my collar against the rain as I walk ever so gingerly out of the auto clinic and merge with the crowd on the sidewalk. I'm just praying no one will bump into me from behind. I don't know how far I'll be able to walk like this. I don't even have chump change for a cab. I return Vita's call. I can see she's busy in a meeting. She walks to the corner of the room and whispers, "It's about the president. Be ready for my call. Okay?" "Sure," I tell her. "What else can I say?" Even though I know I won't be taking any calls after they cut off my InVision. I leave a message for new accounts. "I've been reconsidering your offer." I get lost in the flea market as I try to navigate my way back to InvisiBank. I know there's a crack in the wall someplace, but there are holes in the walls all over. I ask Dudney for directions, but he's in a foul mood and tells me to ask for help somewhere else. I spy an old woman selling candy from a makeshift kiosk. Then I notice the girl dog bait just around the corner from the stand with her puppy parked obediently at her feet. Quicker than the eye can see, the kid snitches a bar of popcorn, but the seller pins her with a glare. The little thief snaps her fingers, and the dog begins to growl. The woman takes a kick at the dog, and it buries its teeth in her leg. While the old lady is occupied with self-defense, Dog Bait loads up with all the booty she can carry and vanishes into the crowd. From a distance, I hear a whistle, and the dog runs off. I tell Dudmeat, "She's one of the kids that eat dogs." He says, "Just be careful they don't eat you." Down the way, a man in a flak jacket sitting at a table marked with a sign "Insurance" calls out to me, "Are you ever afraid?" I ask, "What? Are you afraid?" Given my recent experience, I say, "Sure, I'm afraid. Isn't everyone?" He says, "Well, if you're ever afraid, you need insurance." I ask, "What kind of insurance?" "Well, I got flashlights, batteries, battle rations, Kevlar vests, gas masks, detox filters, first aid, firearms, ammo. Name your caliber." I say, "You call this stuff insurance?" He asks, "You own a gun?" I tell him no. Reaching under the table, he brings up a pistol-grip machine gun. "You know, with all the mayhem going on, there is nothing better than good gun insurance. No doubt about it. Once you get the feel of one of these sweethearts, you'll understand immediately about gun insurance. This is the best hands-on insurance that money can buy." "Is business pretty good?" I ask. "It's booming. End of the month, I'm getting a lease on a full-blown warehouse." He holds up a flak jacket. "Can't keep 'em in stock. There's nothing like the feel of Kevlar when the bullets start flying. So, you're looking for?" "Invisibank," I tell him. He points. "It's right over there. See that hole in the wall? But before you go, take my card, and if you ever need insurance, I'm your guy. Guy. That's me, the insurance guy." I squeeze through the crack in the wall and make my way down the dank passage toward the Megaplex and the lender of last resort. Inside Invisibank, I tell new accounts. "You said 10,000 at 100% a month, backed by all I have and all I'll ever have. So, okay." She says, "Did I say that?" I tell her yes, and I'll take it. "When was that?" "Just the other day." Her eyes narrow and she says, "Well, that was the other day, and this is today. By the way, how did you find us?" I tell her it wasn't easy. "Yes, and there's a reason for that. We're not your everyday bank. You know, when people say you can't get blood from a stone, well, those people don't know what they're talking about, because we can get blood from a stone. We do it every day. By the look of things, it seems that your situation has deteriorated over the last few days. We've been watching you, and the way things are now, I'll loan you 5,000, cash in hand, interest at 500% a month. You can take it now, or come back and hope for better terms some other time." I tell her I'll take it. Then she adds, "And the collateral. That includes your fungible body parts, along with everything else. We believe that incentivizing the borrower is the key to success. So let's be clear on this. If you come up short, we will bleed you dry, and skin you head to toe, and you can bank on that. I'm having second thoughts, and she's getting impatient. She says, "You know, odds are that at the rate you're going, you won't even be alive in a month. Tell me, how long do you expect to live with bid poison, credit cancer, and no means of communication but the tongue in your sorry mouth?" My mouth is dry. Without making a sound, I open and close my lips like a fish gulping air. She says, "I'll take that as a yes. Now, I suggest you read the contract, especially the fine print. I'll warn you right now, there's a substantial early repayment penalty. 34%, I can't take this anymore," I tell her. 34 whatever. She says, "Just so you're clear, where do I sign?" "Just say you agree." I tell her, "I agree." Exiting the site of my humiliation, I cross the lobby, descend the stairs, and grope my way through the tunnel. Back inside the flea market, I wander past makeshift piles of flotsam and jetsam. I stop at a table displaying broken plastic toys. The vendor in a wheelchair comments, "Mid-20th century, very rare. Even as broken as they are, these are quite valuable." I'm fingering through the pile of disjointed arms and legs, trying to put out of my mind the deal I just signed up for when I get a call from Vida. By the look on her face, I know this is going to be one of those conversations. I feel a dull ache in the hole in my back as she brings up the image of Hammerman. The scarred warrior is standing in a pool of blood, overlooking his dismembered victims. He looks as tired as I feel. Vida asks, "Well, what are you going to do with him?" "He's getting more over the hill by the minute." I manage to say, "I got ideas." She fires back, "That old meat grinder motif of hack 'em and whack 'em, it doesn't cut it anymore." On the table in front of me, I stare at oddball parts of Pooh, Piglet, Charlie Brown, and Snoopy. She pulls me back into the conversation, where I do not want to be. "We haven't seen anything from you, Vinny, so we're taking Hammerman to other designers. If you can't come up with something new..." The vendor points out a pair of Ken and Barbies, and the solution to my problem is crystal clear. I tell Vida, "I see." She says, "What?" "I'll get back to you," and I click her off. I open Hammerman's design space and write myself a note. One word: Stoletta. Running up the stairs to my room to get out of the rain, I get a family call. InVision shows Dad, Mom, and Sis standing on the sidewalk next to all of their belongings. Sis says, "For crying out loud, Vinny, we've been standing in the rain forever. What are you going to do about this, huh? I mean, people see us standing here like trash." I tell them, "There might be room over here where I'm living now." Mom asks, "And where might that be?" Now that they've moved in here, I'm sitting on my bed thinking, this is worse than the pain in my back. I pull my knees to my chest and listen to Sis yelling through the paper-thin walls as she goes on and on. Doesn't that idiot realize I will absolutely die if even one person finds out I'm living in a dump like this and tells everyone in the world who is talking about me behind my back, or even worse, right to my face, "Oh, poor baby, have you hugged your trashy neighbors today? And oh, you must be hungry. So what do you say we get some takeout from the dumpster?" I mean, does he have any idea? I go in the bathroom, take off my shirt, and very slowly unwrap the gauze from my back. I tell Dudney, "I'm worried about the skin graft. It doesn't feel right." He asks, "How does it feel?" "It doesn't feel anything." That sounds good. I'm thinking opportunistic infections and the like. How does it look? He suggests, ask your family. With a towel over my back, I go out on the landing and knock on their door. I ask Dad to come out and have a look. Oh, I don't know. It looks kind of like a pork chop, he says. Yeah, but is it a good pork chop or a bad pork chop? Well, one thing's for sure, Vinny, I wouldn't eat it. You know, I know this is a bad time and all, but I was meaning to ask you about that loan. Yeah, sure, Dad. Maybe later. I yell into the room, hey, sis, will you come out here a minute? I show her the wound and she says, that just makes me want to throw up. I poke my head inside the door. Mom, please, I need your opinion. I go inside. She inspects the wound and tells me, looks like just what you deserve. I cover myself with a towel and go downstairs into the motel office. I tell the albino that I had sort of a medical procedure, and I thought he might look at it and tell me if it looks okay. He says, that's a real nice piece of meat you got there. If you don't mind me asking, what did you get for it? I tell him, I didn't get anything. But how does it look? Is it red? He gets a magnifying lens from the desk and inspects it. What? Kind of what I thought. Yeah, looks like a center cut in a market case. Nice work, real nice. Hey, look, the next time you want to hawk off your flesh, you come see me first, okay? He hands me a business card with one word on it, Al. That's all? Al? I ask him. Everyone knows Al. And this is your motel? I don't mean to pry, but I was wondering about the no vacancy sign. With the housing shortage and all, why are we the only people staying here? That's a favor to Dudmeat. Besides, I got plans. This isn't my only business, you know. What other kind of business are you in? Investigation. I find missing people. How do you find them? He closes his eyes, raises the chicken head pendant to his nose, and inhales deeply. I sniff them out.